Most AI automation freelancers are stuck charging hourly, constantly chasing the next client, and wondering why they can't break through to consistent income. I help builders and freelancers transition to AI consultants who close 4- and 5-figure projects and build scalable businesses. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how that shift happens step by step. If you're ready to start landing your own consistent high-ticket AI automation clients, click the link down below and grab my free roadmap. It walks you through the exact steps to sign $3,000 to $10,000 clients without hustling 24/7. And if you stick around to the end, you'll know how to go from building cool things to getting paid serious money to solve real business problems. Let's dive in. So stage 1 is where you go from builder to freelancer, meaning you're getting paid real money to build things for real clients. So if you're not already in this stage yet, you're probably just tinkering or building things for fun to see if they work. But at some point, you need to shift out of that and earn your first dollar, because that's really the first mental hurdle that you have to get through, is getting a paid client. So a lot of people will hit up their warm network and build in exchange for free services from their buddy who runs a business, which is totally fine. But there is something to be said for building something, even if it's just for $1, to say, hey, I'm a paid AI automation freelancer. What I recommend for a lot of people, and where I started, was on Upwork. I used to think that it was way too competitive and I'd never be able to stand out from people when I had zero experience and zero reviews on the platform. But actually what I found is by creating a killer bio and finding gigs to apply to that were right up my alley, meaning I had built AI automations similar to that before and could show them a Loom video in my application that walked them through the process of how I would solve that problem for them. That's really what helped me to stand out from other people who may have more experience, more reviews, but they weren't able to articulate how they could solve that specific business problem. When I got started on Upwork, I was charging $45 an hour, which really isn't that much when you take into account the 30% that gets taken out for taxes and all of the unpaid time that you're spending looking at gigs, applying to gigs, talking to potential clients on Zoom calls. So that $45 after taxes and after all of that unpaid labor ends up probably being half that. So the point is, you don't want to stay stuck in this stage. You just want to be using this time to get some experience under your belt and get some real-world clients so that you can demonstrate that you've delivered real-world results for them. Because you can't command high prices without proof that your automations work in the real world. And so staying in builder mode, where you're just building things for fun or as a favor to a buddy, that's going to lead you to just overthinking and tinkering and never making any money. So once you've landed and completed your first gig on a platform like Upwork, or if you have a warm network you can reach out to and do like a discounted build for them, now you'll have a case study, a testimonial, proof, not to mention confidence, and you'll be ready to start charging higher prices. Now, stage 2 is where you can start going from freelancer, where you're getting paid by the hour, to consultant. So this is the stage where you get to escape that hamster wheel of constantly having to find the next client. Now, the way I define a freelancer is somebody who gets paid hourly and has to wait for the client to tell them what to do. And so I know from personal experience that that cycle is stressful. Like, you finish one project and oftentimes clients can be going back and forth with you, making changes or trying to get you to add different things. And that's fine because you're being paid hourly. So that's kind of your job. But once you're done with that client, then you have to go out on the hunt for the next one. And like I said, even if you're making $100 an hour, 30% of that goes to the taxes, at least in the US. And then you're spending that unpaid time prospecting, creating proposals, and chasing work. And so, like I said, the proof is in the pudding. You should make it a goal, not even a goal, a requirement, that every business that you build for gives you a video testimonial or is willing to do a case study with you. And if you're delivering something that just knocks it out of the park, they should be happy to do that. And when I say a video testimonial, this is what I mean. Ask the business owner or whoever it is that you created the automation for to create like a super simple 3 to 5 minute video talking about what the problem was, like why they wanted you to build something, what are the pain points that they were experiencing, what it is that you built for them, which means that you need to be able to articulate that clearly to somebody that's probably not very technical, and then talk about the impact of what you built. So it's kind of like a before, during, and after type of timeline. So for example, we were losing 10 leads a month because we didn't have a systematic follow-up process in place. So I hired Billy to build an automation for me that would make sure to nurture the leads on autopilot so that we didn't have to have 2 people doing that process manually. And as a result, now we have no leads falling through the cracks. So The 10 leads that were falling through the cracks before, we're closing 50% of them, and that leads to an additional $10,000 of revenue in the business, as well as save time for the 2 employees that we had allocated to that work. Because the magic in that is that now you can go to another business and say, hey, I know that leads are a thing for every business. Every business wants more leads and customers. That's how you make more money. But I also know that oftentimes businesses have people doing those processes manually, which not only means that there's time and money being spent on that, but leads are falling through the cracks because, hey, they're just human. But what I did is I built this system for another business that saves them 10 hours a week of human involvement, and it makes them additional $10,000 a month. Are you interested in seeing a demo? And so as a freelancer, where you're just building by the hour and you're taking direction from the client and you're replaceable and that income stops as soon as that project ends, now you're moving towards being a consultant where you have a solution that you know that businesses need. You can present that solution and speak about it and speak to how it's going to help solve that business's problem and be able to diagnose and treat that business's problem like a doctor would. So if you are in the freelancer stage, you probably have experienced burnout. Like the money feels like it's always about to run out and you're never free because you're constantly on that hamster wheel of finding the next client, doing the next build, and so on and so forth. So nothing carries over unless you're getting that video testimonial or case study so that you can parlay that into being an AI consultant and positioning yourself as that doctor who can diagnose and treat the business problems. Positioning yourself as a consultant rather than a freelancer unlocks strategy level value. So you get paid by the project, not by the hour. You get paid for the results that you deliver and not how long it takes for you to build the thing that gets the results. So you're leading the client conversations and guiding them to the right solution. And speaking from my own personal experience, you become trusted, in demand, and well paid. So you're not just another commodity. You're not just another set of hands that can push a button or can build an N8N workflow. This is where you start to transition from being paid for your time to being paid for your brain. And that's where the big money is. And now, as a consultant, we enter stage 3, which is productizing or semi-productizing what works and what's in demand. So as a consultant, when you're having these conversations with clients and potential clients, you'll start to notice patterns in what clients ask for and what builds that you create that deliver the highest impact for that business. So think about it. If you build something from scratch every single time for every single new client, you stay stuck in that loop of custom work that's bespoke every single time and over delivery. So the name of the game in stage 3 is getting to kind of reuse and recycle things that you've built in the past that you know that other businesses are going to want in the future. Because building something custom every single time can be exhausting. And more importantly, it doesn't scale. So really, this stage is all about building leverage, meaning you can work less and still make more money. Because again, at this stage, you're not being paid hourly, you're being paid based on the results that you deliver. So here, as you start collecting more wins and more proof in the form of video testimonials, case studies, written testimonials, although they're not as powerful, but you can start reusing parts of workflows. Or if, like me, I built an AI voice agent for a client, and then I was able to use a template that I could rebuild for future clients using half the time. But you'll start building systems and packaging solutions into semi-custom or fully productized offers. So you spend less time building and more time selling the outcome. And again, clients are coming to you at this stage, not just for your hands or your time, but your ability to think and use your brain that deliver them results. So here's a personal story. So my first Upwork gig was a 2-month-long project. It was about 8 to 10 hours a week. And what the end product that I delivered was basically a lead generation system that ran for maybe $80 or less a month that generated real estate leads. And I mean, this system was complex. Like it was a multi-agent workflow. It had a custom data scraper that would scrape court case records, and then an agent that would compare the names of the property owners with the people in the court cases to see if they were matches. All in all, I ended up getting paid about $4,000 for that project. But the person who I built it for now can sell those real estate leads for thousands of dollars to a real estate agent or a wholesaler. So for the money he paid me, he can get ROI in a week. Meaning if he sells a couple leads to a real estate agent or a wholesaler, he's already made back his investment that he paid me. So That's a really painful lesson to learn, but it's also kind of necessary because if I had built that project on my own and not just been sitting around waiting for direction from someone else, that's easily a system I could have sold for $20,000. And so the stages that we walked through are the exact path that I've taken to become an AI consultant. And it's the same path that I've guided others through as well. And these are people who are probably in the same stage that you're at right now. Builders with real skills that know how to build really cool things, but aren't making consistent income. They've gone through these stages and landed their first paying clients. They've signed their first 4-figure projects. And they've started to build businesses that actually scale. So if you're serious about building a $10,000 a month AI automation business without 24/7 grinding, click the link below and book a strategy call. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.